Good evening, everyone. I am so excited about show number 18. One of my favorite all-time people. I had the honor of playing a long time with this guy. It's going to be a real good show. I want to get right to it. So let me bring my partner up from Edmonton, Alberta, Brad Bartko.
How you doing, Rosey? We might have a special guest in the background. I got a brand new dog today, and just little, 9 weeks old. So
You got you
whenever.
got to bring the dog on. We love dogs on.
Let's see. We'll let my wife.
Oh, here we go. Show us the dog. Oh my God, he's gorgeous. What's his name?
Her name is Layla.
Oh, Layla. Oh, what's her name? Sorry, Layla.
So it's a purebred French bulldog, and already attached to the hip, already spoiled. So if you hear any noises in the background, that's what's going on.
All right. Well, we got a great show. Gonna do a special introduction here. I'm gonna introduce him before he comes on because I don't want him to. We've been through a lot, this guy. So Brad Bowden is our guest. He is one of a few Canadians, Barks, who has medaled in the summer and the winter. 2004 in Athens, Greece, wheelchair basketball, gold medal. 2006 in Torino, Italy, sled hockey, gold medal. 2014 in Sochi, bronze medal. 2018 in Korea, silver medal. We have been through some of the highest highs in my life have been with Brad Bowden. Some of the lowest lows have been beside him. You know what? I was thinking a little while ago, to me, he's always like 15, 16 years old. And he's not that anymore. He's an incredible human being. His grandparents, Colleen and Jerry, are watching from upstairs, and they are so proud of him. Let's bring him up, my good friend, Brad Bowden.
Hello.
Hey, Brad.
Thanks for having me,
buddy.
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic.
We're doing good.
I love your dog, by the way.
What's that?
Your dog is so cute. I had a French bulldog at one time. They're an awesome breed.
Yeah, your dog was great. I remember being up in Orton, Ontario, with sitting out front with Jerry and you and the dog. Those were the good old days.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about your career, buddy. You have done some things that very few Canadians have done, and unfortunately, very few people know about it because the Paralympics still don't get the recognition. Gold medal in wheelchair basketball, gold medal in sled hockey. I was honored to be on the ice with you when we won the gold medal in Torino in 2008. Tell our listeners a little bit about you and your background and your life.
Well, I'm 38 years old. I was born in Mississauga, and then I ended up my biological parents had some issues taking care of me, and given just the stuff that was involved with me being a disabled kid. So my grandparents took custody of me. We moved out to this little area called Orton, Ontario, which is in between Orangeville and Fergus. And I was a very active kid. I loved recess. I loved watching the NHL players play. I wanted to play for the Leafs one day. And my grandmother saw me outside being active with my friends every week after school and thought, there's nothing he can really do at school, or organized sport are kind of hard to find around here. So she started getting on the phone and phoned around to all these different areas to find out if there was anything else in the outside areas for inclusive sports, or, wheelchair basketball sport here, or teams or anything like that, because she'd heard about wheelchair basketball. So she ended up finding one in Brampton, got into a tournament, won a basketball chair, which kind of changed everything once you get a basketball chair. And I got kind of taken on by Jeff Penner, who took me to Kitchener, introduced me to sledge hockey. And then I learned about the Paralympics with Billy, and we both kind of pursued that, and I ended up making the men's basketball team. And then shortly after, Billy and I both made the Canadian sledge hockey team. And it's kind of a weird, long story. It's really hard to kind of minimize everything that happened. But long story short, just grandma set everything up and found out about wheelchair basketball. And then it was a gateway sport into sledge hockey, and the rest is kind of history.
Well, Barks, I'll tell you this, his grandmother, Colleen, rest her soul, what an absolute angel. She used to call me if something happened. She used to call me and just go absolutely, and she would do anything for Brad, absolutely anything. Hey, Brad, talk to us about what it, every show we ask this because, our show is about ability through disability, just striving for greatness and doing incredible things, which you have done. Talk to us how important the role of your grandparents, Colleen and Jerry, were to you.
I think back, and I think that they instilled a mindset in me that I'm grateful for, because I always remember being aware of the challenges that I had because of my physical disability. But I always found that as a child growing up, you always try to push the boundaries and try to get away with stuff. And sometimes I used my disability as an excuse, and they were awfully quick to really stomp that out and kind of call me out on that and make me realize that I wasn't going to be able to rely on them my whole life. Like my grandmother would always say, what are you going to do someday when we're not here? So I think they instilled a lot of this mindset in me, like to just kind of go for things and, learn to try things for myself, and realize that, the world doesn't owe me anything, and I'm going to have to work hard, whether I'm disabled or I'm able-bodied. It doesn't matter. The world doesn't owe you anything, and you got to go out there and you got to make things happen for yourself. And sometimes you might have to do things a little bit differently. I think the biggest thing for me was when you're a kid and you have a dream, like most kids have. My dream was to play in the NHL. And when I really got down on myself, when I found out that I couldn't play in the NHL, my parents were just super quick to just be like, hey, you're just going to have to do something different. You might not be able to play in the NHL, but you can find another way to play hockey at a high level. And that's when I found out about sledge hockey. And I had no problem just grasping that sport and just jumping right into it, and finding that I really did love that. And that was the version of hockey that really suited me more than anything. So it was cool that they kind of put that mindset into me as a young child. And I'm really glad that they, I even did an interview with Gramps and asked him, like, what special stuff did you do with me as a kid? Like, consciously did you do it? And he's just like, you're just a kid. We just wanted to raise you like a kid. And that's what they did. And I think that's important to just remember. Absolutely. That every kid.
Anybody out there, before Bark Sessions question, YouTube Brad Bowden, number 27 on your program, number 1 in your heart. YouTube him. This kid was one of the fastest. Like, you were lightning fast. Absolutely. And you were, the great thing, Barks, about Bowden is he had a bullet shot, but he never hit me in the head on purpose, as like Westlake used to always drill me in the head on purpose. Bowden never did that, and I appreciate it.
I gotta say, I did never meet your grandparents. I'm sure they're proud of you and what you've become and what you've done. I remember, meeting you a couple of times in Camrose. You came out to Alberta and helped us at camp. And I had the utmost respect and admiration for not only you as an athlete, but for you as a person. So talk to us now, kind of what you're doing now. But now that hockey's over, I understand you're running a camp in Barrie. Is that correct?
So I work for a nonprofit right now that works within Simcoe County that does inclusive sports programs with rec departments. So all of the rec departments around Simcoe County are mandated. Most of them in Ontario are mandated. I know Collingwood's not. I don't know why, but we do a lot of work out there with inclusive sports as well. But most of the areas have mandates to run a certain amount of programs. So we got a grant with the Ontario Trillium Foundation, and it was huge because it allowed us to buy a ton of equipment to lend out to children or young adults in the area that want to stay active, like hand cycles. We have wheelchair basketball chairs, sleds. And also they hired me on board too. And we had Tyler McGregor on board and a few others. And we kind of ran programs for the past couple of years. And now we're just working in Aurelia right now doing wheelchair basketball, because we have 2 programs running wheelchair basketball and sledge hockey. And that's basically what I do. Every week is work on programs, do not fundraising, but like marketing stuff, poster design, graphic design. Then I instruct and facilitate programs. And so we just did wheelchair basketball tonight for an hour in Aurelia at 5:30 at the new rec center. And we have about 6 kids, and we play wheelchair basketball every Sunday. And I just make sure that they do it safely and we have fun and we get to play some sports together.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Paul, can I go again, or do you?
Yeah, go ahead. I just sent you. Yeah, okay.
Awesome. So, Brad, what I gotta ask, what do you want your legacy to be? When you look back and all these accolades and everything you've done, I mean, when you want people to think of Brad Bowden, what do you want to be left behind?
I think now that I'm out of the game and I'm almost 40 years old, I think I've matured a little bit more, and I'm not really running on the ego as much as I was when I was competing. I know all athletes have a little bit of an ego and have different desires when they're playing, usually a gold medal or something. But now looking back, I'm proud that I think that I was a good example for young people to follow. I never doped. I never cheated. I was never disrespectful. I tried to be a good sport. I tried to just play the game and let my game speak for me. And I know that there's a lot of different role players where they have to do certain things that, get them in trouble, and it's not really, and sometimes that's frowned upon. But I think as a player myself, I always wanted to show that you could always just speak through your play. And sometimes you watch players, they get out there and they'll act one way and then they'll change 100% and they'll turn into a new person. I like to think that I tried to stay consistent with my teammates, and I was a genuine player and treated my teammates like family, and I was respected by everybody that I played with. I'm more so concerned if my peers respected me and enjoyed the moments that we had together than some of the other people now, because it's a good feeling to hear that, especially from fans as well and just fellow players. But I'd like to think that I showed young people that you don't have to be all glitz, or like you don't have to be all extravagant or like run your mouth or do anything dirty out there. You can just play a clean, solid game and just go out and let your play speak for you without actually doing anything more. So,
well, I can tell you, playing 9 plus years with you and 3 Paralympic games and a few world championships and a bunch of tournaments, traveling the world with you, I will guarantee that you were 100% the same guy on the ice as off the ice. Sometimes, we love him, Westlake and myself. We did things that we did, 11 years I'm retired. There's a few things that I look back and go, ooh, boy, that was shady. But sometimes you got to do things to get the team going, and that's kind of the role I had. You were all class all the time, whether we were in Japan off the ice or we were in the Czech Republic on the ice. Hey, Brad, I want to ask you, every guest we've had, we've asked this question about disability in the world. You've been around the world with wheelchair basketball and sled hockey. You've traveled everywhere. What do you look back on, in early 2000s to where we are now? Are things getting better?
as far as accessibility,
As far as everything, is accessibility, the way the
I don't think everything
looks
is
at
equal.
disability.
Yeah, I think it's getting better. I think there's more education, that's for sure. There's definitely a more of a movement and a general kind of effort on everybody's part as a society, kind of learn more about inclusive sports and equality and so forth. I think that it's slowly changing. I still look outside, especially in the winter as a Canadian. I mean, if you want to see if it's accessible or not, just wait till the winter hits and see how you feel.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't think that it's more accessible, but I also live out on the outskirts. Like, I'm not in the cities. I don't see what it's like in Toronto right now, but I still think it's got a ways to go. Because you go out, I was talking about it on TikTok a while ago, where like even wheelchair ramps, like where they're placed, right? Why are there not more ramps around here? Like if I want to go and I drop something on the street and I want to go on the road to pick it up and then get off the road safely, or if you have a child and they drop something on the street and you got to get on the street to get something, how does someone in a wheelchair get on and off the street safely? There's all these things you don't think about. And if I can't do it, then that means somebody else who's got a more severe disability than I do they can't possibly do it. So it makes you think. So I'd like to say that Canada's taken initiative and we're slowly changing, but maybe I'm just picky and I don't know, I'm stubborn, but I still don't think it's great. I think it has a long way to go. I think it's mostly because we don't speak up as much as we should as a disabled community. If you look around, right, we've learned to have thick skin as a disabled community and put our heads down and just deal with the adversity. And, but I think we're starting to slowly wake up and speak more about the issues at hand, and it's starting to slowly get better. But it could be way better.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%. And I started following you on TikTok. You got some pretty good talks, do they say? TikToks, whatever.
Some ticker
Yeah.
talks.
Yeah.
I just went on there for fun, and then I posted a video about a fossil, and then I blew up one night, and I had like 100,000 views. And I was like,
Yeah, you're doing good.
So
I'm going to do it one of these days when we get myself going. But hey, I'll relay a story. I'm thinking about all kinds of different things, and there's one story of all the things we've been through that it always comes to my mind when I talk to people about disability and ability through disability and ignorance through disability. We did a talk, and I hope you remember this. We did a talk. It was a long time ago. And I remember you telling your story, and a lady came up to you and asked you, I can't remember exactly how it went, but do you remember she asked you like what it was like to be you, or what it was like to live with a disability, and you came up with this like you're you were born this way, this is who you are. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I think I do.
We were doing a school talk
or something. Yeah, no, she was just asking what it's like to be disabled, and it's weird because like I have a different mindset. Like I am completely aware that I was born this way. Some might think that I'm lucky because I was born with a disability. So like I don't know what I never had, and that. So it's a different situation. But for me, imagine nothing's wrong with you, and then someone goes, "Oh, what's it like being messed up like you?" Or like when they frame it like that, it's a little bit offensive, but at the same time, you got to remember that it's also a little bit of ignorance as well. She was just trying to ask a question, but I don't think she realized that it was kind of a tough one for me because it's like I've always been like this, and now you're asking me like, "Oh, what's it like dealing with that?" It's like I don't know. It seems pretty easy. I was born like this. Like I don't know any different, like that's what I'm always concerned about. Is like I'm always fine. It's the other people. Like I'm always thinking about the other disabled people that had been able-bodied, and then their life changes, and then it's like such a change, and it's not accessible. And then I say something, and they're like, "Well, you can do it," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not talking about me. I can do whatever I need to do. I'll crawl through the snow if I have to." But it's but when people ask you questions like that, I've toned it down a lot more because people mean well. And I think I was a little bit insecure at that. I don't know. When somebody asks you that, it makes you feel insecure or something. I guess maybe you take it the wrong way, but looking back at it now, I think we handled that the right way. And but you get questions like that all the time. People probably ask you what it's like being you too, right, Brad? Like you're, and then you're like, it's like waking up every morning and being me. Like I don't.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, not only do we have the same name, but I think we got the same mindset when it comes to a lot of things as well. And I'm just me. I'm born to accept me, and I don't know how to deal with me because I've dealt with it all my life. So this is how I deal with it. My last question for you before Rosie wraps up. I gotta ask you. I am gonna relate it to sports because that's how I know you. Talk to us about one of your. I know you got a few. You got to pick one. One of your greatest moments that you've had in your career, whether it's basketball, hockey. What's been a big moment for you?
There's been a lot.
Yeah.
Torino was a big one because of everything I was through. But I have to say the one that really blows my mind is when we won against Norway in that overtime, or just with 9.3 seconds left. When was that, in 2009, Rosie? Or 2008 Worlds? And we played Norway for the gold. Billy got kicked out of the game, and so we had our backs against the wall, and we ended up pulling off the win, and with like 9.3 seconds left. And it was just it was one of the most psychologically impressive games I've ever had, where you just had pure synergy with Greg, where I just felt his stick and knew where he was positioned by the net, and knew where to put the puck, and like everything was just clicking. And we just put our heads down and pulled that win off. And I don't know about you, Rosie, but like I love the Paralympic win. There's no other feeling better than that. But that win with 9.3 seconds left against Norway, and with Grandpa being there, and even Billy's mother was there, and all, a lot of people's family was there too to witness that. That was an incredible win. And that, to me, just thinking about how Greg and I connected, and Dixie scored a big goal to get us going, and it was unreal how the family came together after we won too. That's one that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, sorry guys, I lost my camera for a second here. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but I 100% agree with you, Brad. The 2008 Worlds in Boston was huge. We Billy got thrown out of the game with right at the pretty well when the period ended, and then we had to kill a 5-on-3 to start the second. Norway scored immediately. We came back from 2-1 to Dixon scored a Bobby Orr goal to tie it up 2-2. You made one of the greatest plays to throw it over to Westlake to score with 9.3 seconds. And I remember exactly 9.3 seconds because I look at my ring all the time and it says 9.3 on it. And yeah, that was huge. Another one that was huge, if you can talk for a second about, was the 2007 Worlds in the World Cup. It was, I think, in Kelowna, where we played Norway in the gold medal game, and it was 0-0 going into overtime. Svit Korsby, who I've said many times is the ugliest player in sled hockey, had a clear-cut breakaway on me, made the stop, threw it to Bridges. Bridges hit you, and you ripped it under the bar 37 seconds into OT to win 1-0. Remember that?
Yeah, because I remember being in the change room, and Snides came in, looking around, and he just said to everybody, he goes, someone in this room is going to be a hero. And I look around and I'm looking at Mark Dorian and I'm looking at Billy, and I'm like, I wonder who, because I believe we were going to win, but I was like, I wonder who's going to be the one to put it in. And then it was me. So I remember going, wow, here I was looking at everybody else like, who's going to score? And then we just won first shot. So that was huge.
Yeah, I remember that. Brad, you got anything else to ask our incredible guest?
Yeah, I asked another guest this, and I would love your opinion between sledge hockey and wheelchair basketball. I know it's different. One's played on a hard court, one's played on ice, obviously. But for you, was there any parallels for you? Like, is it maybe mindset? Was it work ethic? Like, or was there something on the court that you could still do on the ice that you found similar, and maybe you found solace in that it translated from one game to another?
Yeah, I think that if you go from basketball over to hockey, it's a bit easier because what I liked about hockey was you could still take the same lanes, the same concepts of like, the weaving and lanes and like pass, go behind, and the different cuts and all that kind of stuff. Like, but then you have the board, so there's no out of bounds. I used to hate how the ball would go out of bounds in basketball, but hockey, if you're in trouble, you can throw it down in the corner against the boards and it's away from your net. So those were cool little things that I liked about it. But as far as like basketball, it's all pretty transferable. I mean, the shooting and everything's different, but like as far as knowing where to strategically go, how to spread the court, you're spreading the ice, you're trying to find open ice, you're trying to find, a open court space to get a pass. It's all like basically the same kind of principles. And I think for me, that's what kind of helped me survive in the early years when I got into sledge hockey, is I didn't really have so many like hockey coaches that could teach me systems, but I survived with like knowing how to play structured defense and offense through basketball. And then once Snides came in and it was our first coach that could teach systems, I really was starting to, okay, now I can understand the game was actually more simple after you learn the hockey systems. But like, yeah, definitely. If you're going for basketball to hockey, it's pretty transferable and vice versa. But there's a few things like I like that there's no out of bounds. That's pretty cool. And and that you could hammer a person and like not get a call, but in basketball, you touch their hand and the whistle. It's like, like there's so many options to do defensively, and like to kind of help with situations. You could take a penalty, you could hold someone and pull them down, take a call. You can. But in basketball, you get 5 calls and you're out. So in hockey, you could take one hard penalty and you could be back in the game in like a couple minutes. So it's it's cool that way. It was more in my favor. It transferred in my favor, I'd say.
Barks, one of my favorite memories. Sorry guys, I finally figured out how to put my camera back on. I'm not computer savvy like you two guys. But one of my great memories, and Brau, you were in the middle of this, was in Bremen, Germany, when we played the Germans. you got hammered behind my net. And it was actually the first real fist fight in the history of sled hockey when Billy jumped in and started hammering one of the German guys, and everybody else on the ice was not interested in going in. We had like Jeremy Booker and Danny Berner and Todd Nicholson, three of the nicest people in the world, but there's no way they're coming to your rescue. And I just jumped in from behind the net and started blockering that guy. And then that Svigrove, or what was his name? The captain of do you remember him? Number 99. He said Wayne Gretzky let him wear the sweater.
I can't remember his name.
He came in and drilled me in the back with his sled.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the difference between people thinking, that don't know anything about sled hockey or para ice hockey as it's called now, and maybe watch a game and go, oh my God, this is like absolutely incredible.
Yeah, you gotta. I would even say, like, if you can try to catch a game in person, you'll be even more impressed, because I don't think that even watching it on television with the angles, it does it justice with the speed and the physicality of it, and the just the noise and just hearing the hits and stuff. I wish more people would check it out and follow, because I think, like you said, the people would just absolutely love watching it. It's such a vicious sport. It's such the opposite of what you would think a stereotypical disabled sport would be. It's not a soft sport at all to watch or play. It's very vicious. It's very demanding physically. So I think that if you have the opportunity to go out and watch the game, I think you should really take it up and give it a chance, because you might actually enjoy it more than the stand-up game for some people. I find that some people are even saying that they enjoy watching sledge hockey over stand-up hockey, and so you never know. Like, it could be something that you just find a new interest in, and you should really just find some time to watch a game. Watch Canada play the U.S. and see what you think.
And Canada, when they play the U.S., it's quite a game. Hey, Brad, last thing, and we got to get you back on again in a couple of months to talk. Maybe as we get closer to Beijing 2022, hopefully the restrictions will open and I'll get to go over there and call the games like I've done before. What would you say to a young boy or young girl out there that's maybe getting into athletics for the disabled, and they look at a person like Brad Bowden, who's been around the world, played in so many incredible games, and what words of advice would you give them? Maybe not even to get to the Paralympic level, but to just realize that dreams can come true.
I think it all started with me by just trying something. I did not want to play sledge hockey. I had no interest in playing a disabled version of hockey. When you hear the word sledge hockey, you're just like, what is this? Like, weird sport, 2 sticks, disabled hockey. Then I tried it after my grandmother convinced me to try it, because she's like, you'll just try it. There's too many kids that don't want to even try anything once. And you might turn out to something and try it for the first time and absolutely love it. You may never take it anywhere. You may never go on Team Canada. You may never travel doing it, but you might just find something in the world that you love, that you're passionate about. And to me, that is worth taking a risk of trying something once. So if you find something that you don't really know if you want to try it once and see what you think. Because like me, if I didn't try sledge hockey, who knows? It opened up the door to so many things in my life. I met so many great people that I love and have just made my life so much better. And I got to see the world and learn so many things, and learn a lot about different kinds of countries and different types of people. And if I had have kept a closed mind and never wanted to try sledge hockey as a child, and my grandmother just allowed me to stay at home and not do that, who knows where my life would have been today. So just try stuff, have an open mind, and try stuff and see what you think.
Good advice, buddy. Good advice. Brad, any last words for Mr. Bowden?
Man, I just want to thank you again for coming on and for being with us today. It was truly an honor to be able to catch up again. It's been a long time, and I hope we can do this again very soon.
Yeah, I have to get you a jersey for back there.
Sounds good, man. Anytime.
All right.
Look at that picture. Was that Sochi?
Yep. I believe so.
Yeah, those sweater. I never got a chance to wear that sweater. That's another great thing about this game. Like I retired after Vancouver, and the things that have changed just from when we started playing. Like Barks, I don't know if you know, like the first games we played together were in Salt Lake City in 2002. Unfortunately, Brad had a vicious thumb injury, which almost ended his career. But he was there with us, and we had to pay to actually play. We were a part of Sled Hockey of Canada. We weren't part of Hockey Canada yet. We had to pay $2,000 each to go for the honor of representing our country. But the things that have changed where the players on the team, that the things they get and the way they travel and the way they work, we could get away with not working as hard back then as some of the players, have to do right now. But great memories, Brad. Absolutely great memories. We'll have to. I know every time we talk, we say we're going to get together, and then a year goes by, and two goes by,
and then a pandemic happens.
COVID happens, shuts the world down. But I appreciate you coming on, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. You're one of the best teammates I've ever played with, had the honor to play with, one of the nicest human beings I've ever had the opportunity to travel with and meet, and it's a true honor to call you friend, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Love you.
Love you too.
Thanks for having me on.
You got it. What a player, man. You got a chance to watch him a little in that camp in Camrose, but this guy could fly. He could absolutely fly. An upper body, like pure strength, unbelievable strength. And the shows are just getting better, buddy.
Yeah, if I may, one thing that stood out to me about Brad back then and still stands out to me today is his character. It never wavers. He's a genuine human being, and on and off the ice, and he's an incredible athlete and an even better person. And I'm sure you can test to that better than I can. But man, it was an honor, and I can't wait. They just keep getting better and better and better, and pretty soon we'll be episode 19, 20. I mean, we just keep going, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the one thing that really Brad brought to the team is he never lost it. Like he always maintained a level of respect. And I gotta say, like there was many times on the ice where I put that Canadian jersey above sportsmanship and did whatever it took to win. Brad always maintained that level of professionalism and respect, and just an incredible teammate. Hey, listen, we got Kerry Goulet says, great interview. And Brad, you are an inspiration. We had a bunch of comments from Robert Wine, one of our favorite guests of all time. He's always on. We love Robert Wine. We're going to have a good show. You're up next week, right? You got a guest for next week?
I'm
We
up
won't
next week.
tell anybody. We'll tease them. We'll tell them maybe Wednesday or Thursday.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's my hero of the week is going to be very straightforward. It's going to be Brad Bowden. I met him when he was 15 years old. He said he's 38 now. Him and Billy Bridges started playing for Canada when they were 15 and 14 years old. Can you imagine that? Traveling the world, playing against Norway and the United States and the Czech Republic, and just the amount of things that he has done, that he's accomplished, that he's overcome. We didn't even talk about Salt Lake. He got a couple of months before we went to Salt Lake, there was a tournament in Norway, and Rolf Pedersen and him got into just a fluke accident in the neutral zone, and his thumb was actually amputated. It was hanging by a thread. Thank God there was an incredible surgeon in Norway. I stayed back with Brad. Everybody else left, and he reattached his thumb. He missed the games in Salt Lake, but he ended up having an incredible career. And the average person, that career was over because I'm telling you, Brad, his thumb was hanging by a thread. So just to have the honor of playing with him as long as I did, Brad Bowden is my hero of the week. Yours?
Yeah, just a true warrior, an absolute. And like I said, a character man on and off the ice. My hero is going to be a little bit vague today, but the people there's a group of people that just I've noticed in the last couple of weeks that don't give up, they don't quit, and they they do whatever it takes to to get to that next level, whether it's, getting their voice heard and making changes and making a difference, and seeing through change. And I've surrounded myself with a few of those people this week. And I got a big announcement coming next week. I'll announce it next week. I won't do it now. But those people for me are the heroes of the week, because those are the people that really make the world a better place, that pave the way, that don't quit, that don't give up, and really give people hope and an opportunity that, this life, whether how bad or how good, this life truly is worth living. So to all of you, you're my hero this week.
Beautiful. Another show in the books. Number 18 is down. We want to thank, as always, the Fire Up Network that has had us on now for a few weeks. Great opportunity with them. We want to thank Gooch and Gooch Live Productions. Obviously, we want to thank Jordan LaRoche. I'm not going to call him, Brad. I'm going to tell you this right now, the whole world. I always call him the Fanshawe Kid. I think those days are over now. He's long past Fanshawe College, and he's doing some incredible things. So, Jordan, I will tell you, I know you're in the green room doing all the pressing the buttons. The Fanshawe Kid has been retired. I will just call you Jordan LaRoche, the incredible producer. The show is nothing without you. It's obviously nothing without you, Brad, my partner. The journey with Barts and Rosey, we love doing this. We absolutely, it just means so much to us to get ability through disability out there. If you're out there and you're suffering, you're disabled, you're going through addiction problems, reach out and ask for help. There's so many people there, whether it's me or Barks. There's a lot of people out there. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. And thank you for taking the journey with Barks and Rosey. We'll see you next week. God bless.